Today I want to get into people saying that Jung Kook's home gets broken into a lot and why people are concerned over that. I also want to talk about a Stalker fan allegedly leaking a video of Jung Kook at a boxing date, and then RM exposed a Stalker fan. So hey Dumplings, it's Dave Desai. Hater or not, make sure you're subscribed with the notification bell on, grab your dumplings, he's spilling mug merch, and let's go. RM's personal space has been invaded a bunch of times lately, and I'm sure lately he is feeling a bit tired of it, and possibly even scared, because it would be terrifying to have your private conversations leaked out to the public. And it's not even fear that you may say something inappropriate or something bad, but just the fear that it could get taken out of context or may not be on brand with your image. So what am I talking about here today? Let me give some backstory and then a new shocking update. RM and BTS members rarely really address the military and their feelings on it. When they do, it's usually a pretty candid response of, we will do whatever the company wants. So when RM recently visited a temple, he spoke to a monk about his situation and said that he was happy to serve the country. He obviously thought he could trust the monk with his words, and maybe felt like regardless of whether that's a positive comment or not, it's a controversial one since a lot of people don't want him to enlist. RM also felt like he could have a personal relationship with the monk he told this to and expect that the personal relationship would not get leaked to the public. It wasn't long after that allegedly that monk said something to the news, and there was an article written about it. The monk later denied saying that. However, RM posted a story with the article to say that low-key must be low-key and decided to not visit that temple ever again. Now this happened, and I think armies were hoping that a situation like this would not happen again, but it did, just not with the temple. An interesting thing to know if you did not is someone like RM probably would not be booking his own tickets and his own fares for work purposes, as he would have his assistant do that or a hive staff. Celebrities do this all the time, not even for the purpose of just being pretentious like I have someone do things for me, but the idea that they don't want their private information to leak. And if Jessica books the ticket, the likelihood that someone will leak Jessica is very small since she is not famous. Now likely during private time or when the member decides to take a trip in their free time, this is when they would book their own ticket with their own names and information. You're often asked to show ID during these things, so it needs to be a real info. And then phone numbers need to be real too, as sometimes there's delays and things like that, and you'd want to receive a text about that from the transportation company. So if you were thinking they could just fake those things, it won't quite work. RM apparently had been traveling on a rail company called Co-Rail for the last few years. Apparently a staff member had reported another staff member who had leaked RM's personal information. This staff apparently had checked RM's personal information on the Co-Rail database over 18 times in the last few years, and then would give that information to their friends so their friends could pick a seat near RM. And so we can even assume that RM has been on that train at least a few times in the last few years, and each time there was a staff member that probably bought a ticket to sit nearby. This is scary but not too bad, as the people who must have sat near RM didn't do anything. RM is fine. But in a bad scenario, RM would not be okay, and this is exactly why this information should not get out. RM's song Still Life was recorded mostly on a train, and I wonder if he had written that song while he was on the Co-Rail. So to think that he was trying to have a private moment to write and then he might have been stalked is quite scary. And maybe if the stalker interrupted him, Still Life would have never happened. I really do like the song and album, and I've reacted to the various songs on the album over on Patreon. If you would like to join me over there in reacting and fangirling, we do have a $1 tier. It has limited spots, but it is open, so I would love to see you there. Link in the description. Personally, I think if you work at a place with sensitive information, there really shouldn't be a reason to look up people's information once the person has left and there's no reason for that information to be on screen anymore. I can totally understand looking up the information once or twice out of curiosity, just like, ooh, this is RM, but then keeping it to yourself and then moving on. But to check back 18 times and then also give that information to your friends, I don't think you should do all of that. I feel like there's a law for that. RM got wind of this story and then reposted it on his Instagram story. This must have been super frustrating for him because of the temple incident and this. Now he probably feels like he can't even go on a train safely anymore. To feel like everywhere he goes will be watched, it's quite a scary feeling. I don't think the boys should go anywhere without a team now. I think they should have someone with them. There's been a lot of Stalker fan stories that are coming out lately, and it's quite weird that people have nothing better to do lately than stalk or hurt other people. There was a recent story that did come out, and and everyone was screaming stalker fan because there must have been so many. And this one was actually not a stalker. Let me explain what happened. Right after Jung Kook deleted his Instagram, he hopped onto Live to talk about it and how he would just be streaming from time to time and not really posting on Instagram anymore. People thought it was because of stalkers and him wanting more privacy, and that's really up to debate whether you believe that or not. But what happened on the stream actually heightened that, and people were even more scared that Jung Kook was in the midst of a stalker moment, and a moment that was caught on live stream. Jung Kook was doing a singing session and the doorbell rang. He looked to see, but he seemingly did not recognize the person. He said that he never opens the door if he does not recognize the person, which is a great rule for him. So he ignores the doorbell and just goes back to singing again. The doorbell rings again, and Jung Kook was slightly irked and said, "I am singing." When this happened, people thought it was either a stalker trying to get Jung Kook to open the door and talk to him, or it was a stalker trying to break into his home. People often assume the worst, and we can understand why they would. Stalkers would often ring his phone or ring the door during a live stream because if they hear the phone or doorbell ring during the stream, it tells them that they got the right door or the right apartment. So when this happened, Jung Kook explained what went on. But even though Jung Kook explained what happened, people still were thinking it was a stalker. Jung Kook explained that there was likely something wrong with the food disposal in his building and he needed to go and take something away or something like that. It wasn't anything he did, but just something that needed fixing. He apparently scheduled that for 2 p.m. and didn't realize it was already 2 p.m. when the doorbell rang. Of course, after realizing that, he decided to hang up the live stream and go, which he did. And now we know what actually happened. Jung Kook has also apparently had a run-in recently with another stalker that has gone viral. A couple of things to note here. Jung Kook is very into boxing and boxes a lot during his spare time. He has a lot of hobbies, and boxing is definitely one that he has gotten very good at. Now keep that in mind. Jung Kook has also been rumored to have been dating actress Lee Yoo-bi. This rumor was started by the infamous YouTube channel, and Taeyang was apparently going to sue. And recently there was no evidence to support the dating rumor. When the label got a hold of it, and Lee Yoo-bi got a hold of it, it was very quickly denied, and Lee Yoo-bi even laughed to say that it was clearly false. Lee Yoo-bi said that she is familiar with Suga, but not with Jung Kook at all, and the familiarity she has with Suga is just an acquaintance level. Of course, she probably got death threats and all that stuff, which is very unfortunate, but that is going to happen when you're a K-pop idol. But anywho, recently there came out an alleged stalker footage of Jung Kook getting ready to box, and he was putting his mouth guard in. This was recorded, and people were surprised as it seemed like Jung Kook was completely unaware that this was happening. The full video just shows him getting ready and then also him putting his helmet on. It does not show anything else. But then someone took some screenshots of someone else at what appears to be the same venue to say that Jung Kook was with another person there, saying that Jung Kook was with Lee Yoo-bi. However, the photos don't even look like Lee Yoo-bi. It doesn't even appear like the photos were taken even on the same day. It can be quite easy to take two separate photos from different days and put them together to say that they were both there. People were concerned not only for this dating rumor and it hurting the idols, but also concerned over the idea that these fans might be hurting Jung Kook when they go and record him like that. Like, are these people sneaking into the boxing arena to get shots, and then what happens after the cameras are off? Are they trying to go up to Jung Kook and possibly hit him? We don't know what happens after that. However, I believe Jung Kook is okay. Likely when he does things, it's going to be a private, closed-off area. But also, Jung Kook is very good at boxing. He could fight for himself. If it came down to that, he'll be fine. You should be worried about the stalker's health, honestly. But what do you think about all of this? Do you fear for the safety of the boys with the stalkers when they're at home, boxing, or even when they're taking private time on the train? Let me know what you think. Make sure you check out my Patreon for more videos. Link down below. Thanks, just leave a comment right here. Love you. Bye.